Don't you know me, Kansas City? I'm the new Berlin Wall. Try and tear me down. I was born on the other side of a town ripped in two. I made it over the Great Divide. Well, now I'm coming for you.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Hedwig and the Angry Inch. This is the 7th. This is the 7th of 8 films we're watching in Introduction to Film Theory at my university, and in my course. The last one is The Birds, by the way, so if I have any new opinions on that, any new say or new score, I will re-review the film, and the same with Mission Impossible Fallout, which I'm going to rewatch next week as well, and do re-reviews of those. If not, then I will point you in the direction of the original reviews for you to check out. But yeah, just throwing that out there. So, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Well, this was a surprise film. I surprisingly really enjoyed it. I was hoping I'd like it, but I wasn't expecting to like it this much. I really enjoyed myself this film. The plot sees a transgender woman who was previously a man from East Berlin during the Cold War, travelling around America with her band, I suppose I could say her, and singing songs that she wrote with this other guy that she met whilst in America, who stole her songs, and now he's a big teen pop idol, I suppose. And so they're shattering the tour and just going around to fading seafood bars, singing songs. And during this most of the first hour, we're seeing this as well as Hedwig recounting her story from being a boy in East Berlin, growing up there, and then in the late 80s, he wanted to go off with this American guy, but in order to get to the West, Hedwig had to become, Hansel at the time had to become a woman, and therefore under transgender operation. However, the operation is butched, as instead of having a vagina, the womb then seals itself about 2 days later, I think Hedwig said, and there she has an inch of flesh that is now a former useless penis. So, yeah, whoops. And a year later, the husband decides to run off with another guy. I guess he's gay, but now he's running off with a actual man on the anniversary of their wedding. Whoops. Yeah, Hedwig's married twice, by the way, and is in a romantic relationship with 3 people. But we've just had that one, and then Hedwig sees the fall of the Berlin Wall and realises that if she waited a little bit longer, she would have been out of East Berlin, or he. So, whoops. But Hedwig is able to get by and is able to do a couple of jobs, and she eventually meets Tommy Genosis. Well, not called Genosis at the time, but another name. But he gets the Genosis name after graduating from some music teachings she teaches him, and they write some songs together. But when he finds out about her inch, he leaves and takes the songs with him. Whoops. And he goes on to be a big pop star. So Hedwig then, with a band, goes on to does some songs and shadows his tour. She marries another guy as well. He's not that much better than the other 2 people that she loved, but he's probably the least mean to her. In fact, in some places she's pretty mean to him. And the band is pretty much going around performing their songs. But after the collapse of the band, Hedwig and Genosis reconcile, but then the truth comes out, and Hedwig is now really well known, but has a bit of a breakdown at the end, and kind of gets some ambiguous endings. Yeah, it's a bit odd. The last half hour, the last 20 to 30 minutes, it's pretty odd wrap up. But the first hour is amazing. with Hedwig and her band going around playing music and her reciting her story. I mean, it kind of got to a little bit of a slow start, but it got there, and as soon as we started finding out about the past and had some epic music alongside of it, I especially loved that Origin of Love song, then that's where it picked up, and that's where it got really great. The last half hour is also really good as well, so I don't want to put the wrong impression there. I think the acting is great. This is based on a stage show, and I think the actor who played Hedwig plays him/her here as well, with another guy as young Hansel, or at least young Hansel anyway. And also, he does a great job. He might even be the director as well, and maybe a co-writer, so that's cool. I don't think I know any of these actors. I thought the guy who played Luther was Vig Rhames, who plays a Luther in Mission Impossible films, Luther Stickle. But I don't think it's Vig Rhames. I might be wrong. If it is, then he's playing two Luthers. But if not, then I'm just wrong. I just made the connection. And I can't really say too much about the other actors. I'm not really so well known on them, but I think they all do a good job. The manager, who's a woman, she does a good job when she's around. The second husband, he's good, and he tries to get out by playing an actor at some point, but then he comes back and helps out. Maybe Genosis does as well. I'm not quite sure. He might be in the background of the band. There's also Hedwig's first band was formed of Korean Korean army wives, probably South Korean, who, their husbands are probably armed force men in America, possibly, or they've come over to America. But anyway, that was the first band. I don't know what happened to them after, I suppose, around the time of Hedwig and Genosis having their relationship. They probably just left, and Hedwig formed a new band. By the way, that's a bit that we didn't get to see. We didn't get to see Hedwig meet the other band members, her second husband, third relationship. We get a bit of the band togetherness throughout the first 2 hours of the film, especially earlier on. But we don't really see how they all came together, in a way. But it's not the big, massive problem with the film. It's just that, personally, I would have liked to see just a little bit more, just see how Hedwig met her band people, just how it all worked out. But the main stuff is there about her life when she was Hansel in Cold War East Berlin, how she became a man and why she became, well, not a man, a woman. He became a woman, and what happened after that, and the stuff with Tommy Genosis. So that's the main bits covered, as well as the stuff currently taking place. But there is a little bit of gap in the middle that doesn't get filled in. But not a huge problem. And it's still a really well-executed film. Lots of great colours, some really great sets and location work. And acting really great, especially from the guy playing Hedwig/Hansel. And he's just... it's really brilliant, really great. And also that music is so good. I really love the music, especially the songs. That Origin of Love one, that was amazing. And I forgot to mention, there's animation throughout these bits, especially during that bit. You get some animated portions and almost like animated music videos. So yeah, I know I'm sounding like I'm gushing over this film. I wouldn't quite give it a 10 out of 10. I did feel slightly uncomfortable with it. It was a bit, with some of the stuff. I mean, no offense to anybody who's transsexual, bisexual, or LGBT. By the way, that's what we were learning about in the lecture just beforehand. No offense to anyone. I just felt slightly uncomfortable when they were talking about some of it. Not so much during the flashback bits, but more about earlier on at the start. That's all. That was just me. That's nothing really wrong with the film. That's what this film's trying to do. and the husband acts a bit odd, a little bit. The second husband acts a little bit odd to start with. I don't think it's completely clear that he's her husband until later on, and the relationship's not that solid. It's a bit questionable, but it's still a really well crafted and executed film, and I think once Hedwig starts telling her story as well as playing those amazing songs, that's where we get some really great bits. So overall, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I'm going to score this film a 9 out of 10.
I rose from off of a doctor's slab, like Lazarus from the pit. Now everyone will take a stab and decorate me with blood, graffiti, and spit. And amazing, now the cities, they try to tear me down. You want me, baby, I dare. Try to tear me down.
Thinking maybe 10. Actually, no, I wasn't, but now I am. But I think 9 is a very appropriate score for the film, and it's a really well done, really successfully achieved movie. And also that inch of what used to be a penis, I think that's what I said was the Angry Inch, and that's what she calls the band. That's why it's called Hedwig and the Angry Inch. It's technically a band. So, yeah. That's this film. It was amazing, to be honest. Anyone who's LGBT, I recommend it. Providing you're over the age of 15 if you live in the United Kingdom. So, yeah, because it's a 15 rated film. And you can clearly see why. So, yeah. definitely 15. Lots of sexual... well, not really so much sex, but sexual stuff in it, nudity. So, anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Next film I'll be reviewing will be Mission Impossible... I was about to say Ghost Protocol. It's Rogue Nation, actually. Rogue Nation, which is here and here at the bottom. You know, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Like I said, I might be re-reviewing The Birds, but I might not be, and if not, I'll be pointing you in the direction of the original review in a later review I do next week. Same for Mission Impossible Fallout, which would be on the main channel for both original and, if needed to be made, re-reviews. So if that needed a re-review, that'll be on the main channel, and if not, then I'd point you in the direction of the original review, which is also on the main channel. And there will be a re-ranking of the Mission Impossible films. I'm actually thinking of doing a ranking of the film theory films as well, so expect that in a couple of weeks' time if I get around to it. I should really do one for the film studies ones from last year as well, so I should also get onto that at some point, maybe later on in April. I'll do them both. We'll see. But anyway, the next review I'll be doing will be Doctor Who and the Silurians. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
You want me, baby, I dare you. Try and tear me down. From East Berlin to Junction City. Hello, New York. Hello, Missouri. What? Try to tear me down. Come on and tear. Come on and tear.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. However, a year later... I was all...